One of the hottest topics in business in recent times has been the concept of conscious business. It's not surprising because conscious business is now a philosophy of how to do business in the emerging new economy. Conscious business really had its roots in the reaction to the excesses of the old industrial or old economy behavioural practices of large corporates. These sort of old behavioural practices were magnified and amplified in the recent GFC, where we saw very bad corporate behaviours in America, corporate America, around Wall Street in particular, and some of the large banks and some of the large institutions on Wall Street. What has been emerging over time has been a backlash or reaction to this greedy, narcissistic way of doing business. And so over time, a philosophy has developed, partly out of some of the concepts and writings of Ken Wilber with his integral model, partly out of some of the writings of more recent and enlightened entrepreneurs such as Sir Richard Branson, and some of the musings and reflections of experienced investors and business types such as Warren Buffett. Add to that the writings which go back from Buddhist practitioners in business, and you have a mix of strong values and a sense of fairness in business that has now emerged into a solid ethos and platform of how to do business, which actually is very ideally suited to the way the world, in terms of human consciousness, is evolving and growing, and how trends in society, with the emergence of Gen X and Gen Y as influential purchasers and consumers in our society, are very strongly attracted and attuned to this whole ethos of business. So the basic premise of conscious business is, in the classic words, doing good is good for business. These words, as echoed through people like Sir Richard Branson, come from a place of saying that business does not have to come from the old command and control structure, where typically, from an inside-out perspective, businesses decided how they would approach their markets, how they would treat the communities in which they did business, and how indeed they'd treat consumers, and what sort of products, services, and service offerings as customers they would be given. In this place, an emergence of thought has now evolved where we now see that the total customer experience is front and centre of how businesses will in the future create their brand. In this place, customers become real stakeholders to the business. In saying this, what we are really saying is that businesses are going to treat customers from a value-driven proposition, not just a profit-driven proposition. So values become the heart of the business. These values are very much things like integrity, honesty, respect, and great attributes that typically have not been part of business ethos or even business capitalistic theory, where profit was always the driving motive of business. Now what we find is that profit-driven businesses who focus on the old, typical left brain, reductionistic, empirical measures of measuring their businesses through margins, profit and sales, and cost and inputs, is not enough actually to make you successful as we move forward into the new economy. Having a discipline in a business, having a business systemised so that it could even be franchised, is still a valuable way of looking at how to, with discipline, construct a business and make it run to an efficient discipline. But that's all left brain stuff. That gets you into business, but increasingly will not get you into business success in the future. And a lot of coaching and a lot of consulting goes on around those black and white systems, processes and constructs of business. But what is missing and what must emerge now is a more right-brained approach where we start to look at some of the more intangibles, some of the more grey areas of the business that must be addressed and which relate to the experience and the emotional impact of the business and the way in which businesses are perceived and received by the stakeholders in their community. So it looks like this. A conscious business will be a highly profitable business. There is certainly no sense in conscious business that we're in business to be a charity. Certainly doing charitable actions and doing social enterprise initiatives, being part of community contribution, and being sensitive to the needs of your employees is certainly part of the values of being in business. But that doesn't mean you forsake a profit motive. What we're saying is, if you focus on many of the other aspects of being in business, then profits and money tend to look after themselves. So how does that look? Well, when you wow your customers with a fantastic customer experience, where customers can get that experience consistently over time from you as a business, you will build a reputation as being a consistent brand. You'll build a reputation as being really able to offer a valuable and compelling customer service offering that people will naturally want to come back to time and time again. From that place, you actually build the brand through the agency of the people who engage with you. Because they love you, they talk about you in positive ways. And as you know, with social media, people are reporting their experiences on a day-to-day basis on all forms of social media, such as Facebook. And so your business, in terms of the experience that you give out, is being reported either in a positive or negative fashion on social media. And these types of reporting are becoming very influential in terms of how your brand is perceived and shaped by the consumers in our society. So a conscious business understands this and works very clearly and consciously towards creating a targeted customer experience. There's a whole degree of psychology of spaces, psychology of colour, psychology of understanding the social neuroscience of how people work, behave and react at the emotional, thinking and the body-mind level in the way in which they engage with other human beings and indeed in which they engage with business that must be understood to create a total customer experience. We at Conscious Business Australia are experts at understanding the psychology and the construct and the design philosophy that underpin how to do this. But that's not the total picture. Having a great customer experience and having great products and services is only one part of the equation. Your values must clearly be articulated from the top to the bottom of your business. And I mean solid values. These are not customer value statements or business value statements that just sit around the boardroom on the wall to get dusted off once a year to go into corporate shareholder reports. They are not that. They are actively embodied and lived values that everyone in the business understands, embraces, and delivers in the way in which they engage with each other within the business and with those outside the business. This is actively seen and felt at the emotional level by not only customers but members of the community, and it's also seen in the way in which the artefacts of your business, through your marketing, through your communication, and through activities of the people that are staff in your business, conduct themselves both within business time and also within their lives outside of the business. That is a huge part of being a conscious business. It's value driven. A strong sense of values that are lived, not just talked about. The other aspect is, from a value driven place, one of the core reasons for being in business, apart from profit, is that you also exist to be part of the community that you're in and to contribute or give back to the community. Giving back should be a core reason to be in business as much as profit. And that is a part of being a conscious business. So conscious businesses will look to see how they can give back to their communities through not just charity or philanthropic actions, but actually engaging the community in novel and innovative ways that create great outcomes for all those who participate in the venture or initiative. Likewise, social enterprise becomes a way of doing social activities within the community contribution. So a social enterprise footing allows you to connect up with beneficiaries within your community that really would need access to some of the resources, information or tools that you may have that can help them to become useful or productive citizens or groups within the communities that they are also part of. Not only that, but environmental sensitivity and awareness and concerns for the environment in which businesses have a footprint in or source their products, resources and materials from is also part of conscious business. Conscious business is ethically driven. Some may even say spiritually driven. And that is because a lot of the ethos and values that conscious businesses take is often derived from key spiritual philosophies and frameworks, just translated and systemized into business theory and thought. So what you get out of a conscious business is a fantastic day-to-day experience, either as an outsider looking in or as an insider, a staff member, living day-to-day in this value-driven way that creates great outcomes for all concerned, because it's a win-win business model. It's not a win-lose, as many traditional old economy businesses tend to operate and act from. And it creates great profits, it creates great brands. Just ask Apple, just ask Virgin. These are great examples of new economy businesses who live to a very secure footing under some of the entrepreneurial, innovative and value-driven practices of the new economy. So I'm Richard Boyd and I'm the CEO of Conscious Business Australia. So if you liked what you heard and you'd like to engage or know more, contact us on www.cbau.com.au or just drop me a line and let's talk about where you're at in your conscious business evolution. Bye for now.